Hello, welcome to Fan Formula after Malaysia. Not done one of these for quite a long time. I know last time I did one of these it was still, I wasn't even in HD, but I've upgraded all the equipment since then. New webcam, new DSLR, doing it on the DSLR because for a blog I co-write with a guy from America called Velocity Kinetics. Been trying out a new formula which involves a green screen and is talking rather than writing. So just easier to do the setup whilst my flat is completely turned upside down to allow for use of my green sheet. Well, it's a lime green bed sheet, but either way, green screen. I won't shatter the illusion any further. Now, it's great to see the fan formulas back in this form. I can't remember the last time I partook in a fan formula video. Might have even been when it temporarily swapped over to project formula, but whichever one it was, it's been a very long time. Great to see Grace put some questions on, which I've jotted down in my chicken scratch. So let's get underway. 2 out of 2 wins for Mercedes. Which was more impressive? It's hard to say which one of those was impressive, if either of them can be counted as impressive. Impressive in the sense that they've come on so much and are so dominating. That's really impressive. Personally, I prefer Nico Rosberg to Lewis Hamilton. I've never been a massive Lewis Hamilton fan, so I prefer Nico Rosberg's victory, but I'm not going to take Lewis's victory away from him. Although, having seen Don's fan formula whilst I was uploading the video for Velocity Kinetics on YouTube, it was he made a very valid point, and neither of them have been particularly impressive because they've just sort of got the best car gone, which it's a very, very valid point, and I might just be rehashing what he said at this point, but to me it's, whilst I love, I'm sure I'd sing from a different hymn sheet, or I probably would sing from a different hymn sheet if it was Williams at the front charging off and being all dominating. I'm sure my tune would change very rapidly at that point, but I don't really like the massive dominating victories like the Mercedes have had and what Red Bull enjoyed at the end of last season. Credit where it's due, they've got the most dominating car, they've got the best car, they've done what they were meant to do with it, i.e. win. But it's still something I've never been particularly a massive fan of. So neither have been particularly impressive, but if I had to say which one did I prefer, I preferred Rosberg's win over Hamilton's. Next on the chicken scratch list, Massa ignoring team orders. Should he have let Bottas past? It's a tough one because Williams are the team I support, and a lot of what I would call the fickle fuckers will support them on their day, and I mean as in people who just support whoever is winning. So when Red Bull are winning, it's yay. When Williams are winning, it's yay, and whoever else is winning, it's yay. But Massa ignoring team orders. In the sense it was an order from the team, he was stupid to ignore it. Williams, in theory, know what they're doing, and from what I've seen, Bottas apparently had 5 laps newer, tyres out of 5 laps newer, so he should have in theory been able to get past Button and things, but he wasn't. I could have understood the team order if he was right on Massa's gearbox, and Massa was just not letting him pass, but Bottas still couldn't pass, so I'm caught between a rock and a hard place on the issue, or not the issue but the situation. They shouldn't have delivered it in a manner similar to what they did for what Ferrari did to Felipe in 2010 in Germany. I'm really not sure what I think on it. I personally think, I'm not sure what I think really, but I think I respect Felipe for just offering the 2-fingered salute to it in that respect, and just going off and, well, yes, potentially Bottas could have taken the place from Button, potentially, but it wasn't like he was all over the back of Massa. It wasn't like Massa was deliberately cutting off his slipstream or anything like that, or from what I saw at least. If people are watching other feeds, that might have shown something slightly different. Of course, I'm more willing to change what I say, but I say kudos to Massa for just doing what he wanted, and just ploughing on, and going ahead, because at the end of the day, it's still a good haul of points for Williams. It was a double points finish, which they've not managed. It was with the FW34, and it was towards the latter end of the 2012 season. And with how good the FW34 was, they scored so few double points finishes when they should have done. I think, as a fan, I'm just going to take every double points finish that Williams can get, and higher up the order that is, the better. Now the next question refers to the chicken scratch again. 7 drivers failed to finish the race. Good for F1? Is this good for F1, or does it tarnish racing? To me, it makes very little difference. If I'm brutally honest, it makes no difference to me at all. Simply because I've been an F1 fan since, for as long as I can remember, before I started primary school, so at least since I can remember watching probably when I was about 3.5, 4 years old, and high attrition was quite common. So it's not very new, it's not a strange concept to myself that we've got all these cars failing to finish. Or had those few cars failing to finish today. It's going to happen. We've had such reliability because of stability in the rule changes. Of course we're going to just breed this environment of pure reliability, no cars having major mechanical breakdowns, engine blowouts being a rarity. So it doesn't tarnish the sport to me at all. I just hope it doesn't get back to the point of where it's going to be and all 22 cars have finished. And, well, it's not going to be Carter Kane bring up the rear again. Actually, that was 24 cars with him, wasn't it? But it's not going to be... I don't want it to be back to the old, everyone's finishing. It's a bit dull. Whilst it gives the leaders something to do to lap people and makes them think, if I use my brain here, I'll stick behind him for a few seconds longer, then I can get my DRS to pass him. It's needed with this new technology. It's going to happen with this new technology. I mean, it's proven even on the road with the hybrid systems and the smaller engines and the turbocharging. It's not always been a complete success on the road. Not that the technology's been exploding and burning up and etc. on the road. It's just not always been the most reliable thing around. And all the electronics and all the components have got to get to speak to each other in the cars. It's a wonder that as many of them have finished as they had. I would have my personal opinion, well, not opinion, what I personally thought during the pre-season. Whilst this race we've only had 7 cars retire, I thought it was going to be the other way around. I thought we'd only have about 7 cars finish. So it makes very little difference to me. It's wrong to say I'm not asked about it, but it doesn't bother me that those cars are retiring. There's not much more I can say on the issue, really. It's a bit of a non-question to myself, not to mean any disrespect to Grace who thought the questions. It's just a bit of a non-issue for me. And the last question is from the Chicken Scratch again. Driver of the day. There are a few candidates for it because there's Bottas coming up from was he 18th when he started to finish where he did in the points. Fantastic climb back up the field, demonstrating how solid a package the Williams have got at the moment. I have to say at the moment because they could bring an update that would could just monumentally fail. I hope not, knock on wood. That's a piece of MDF holding my green screen up, so that was wood I was knocking on. But Bottas was a good candidate for driver of the day. Brilliant drive. Massa, brilliant drive. I know it would sound biased with my Williams support, offering it to them too. Well, I've got 2 slightly different drivers of the day candidates. Basically, Hulkenberg and Alonso. Whilst I would, like I said, whilst I'd love to give it to the Williams drivers, Hulkenberg, I think, snatches it just slightly from Alonso. It was a very good drive from Alonso, maybe a bit anonymous in the drive, maybe a bit too quiet, but at the end of the day he just brought the car home. Brought it home where he started, which is always a good thing, particularly starting up that end of the grid. Granted, it might have been helped by Ricciardo's retirement retirement but issues, shall we say. But no, it was a solid drive for Alonso, but more impressive from Hulkenberg. I hope Hulkenberg does not get stuck in what I call it a midfield trap, but I'm sure I've heard probably Martin Brundle, David Coulthard called it that first. But I hope Hulkenberg doesn't get stuck in the midfield trap. I'm surprised he should have been signed by McLaren to Perez last year, as I think he might have been able to do something without McLaren. No disrespect to Jensen Button, I'm sure Hulkenberg could have done something without McLaren that Jensen just couldn't. So it's tough one to call, but I say overall Hulkenberg for driver of the day. I wouldn't be at all surprised. I think it would be a very solid bet to say he's going to get a podium at some point this year. I'm not going to say a win, because the reliability of the Red Bull and the Renault, not Red Bull and the Renault, well obviously they're powered by Renault, but the Red Bull and Mercedes, even that's the word words I'm looking for, their reliability is too good at the moment for him to try and sneak in, and Ferrari are still there or thereabouts, likewise McLaren are there or thereabouts. So for force India to have a shot at the win, they've got to make sure they've got a decent low downforce package, so they've always gone well in low downforce tracks, facilities, whatever you want to call it. But yeah, Hulkenberg for driver of the day. And I'll just end my submission. Apologies if it's a bit freakishly smooth. The camera is filming in 50 frames a second for reasons I can't understand why I've set it up to be 50 frames a second. There was logic to the idea originally, and I don't remember why. So next time it's probably going to just be less than 50 frames. Now the thing I mentioned at the start, not Pure Racing Fuel. I can't even remember what the bloody hell I want to talk about. Velocity Kinetics. Check it out. It's velocityandkinetics.wordpress.com. It is just starting, and with the hours I work, I can't get as much content put up on there. Likewise, Russ with the hours he works, we can't get very much content up at the moment, but we will slowly be putting content up as and when we can. I would suggest maybe seeing the 2 videos that are already up on there. Well, not up on there because the other one's still in the process of processing, as it's still doing over there on the computer, taking a bloody age to upload. It's about a 6 GB file, shows the amount of work that's gone into it. Yeah, I'd suggest checking it out, and let's hopefully have more fan formulas. Hopefully soon. I have lost a little bit of weight since my last submissions, I believe. I think I'm about 19 stone now, which is a lot less than what I was during the last submissions. I've been slowly coming down the weight scale, so hopefully there'll be less of a widescreen me soon and back to regular proportioned, I guess. Well, not regular proportion, but loss of the multiple chins and things. That would be very very handy. But everyone stay safe. Hope everyone has a good week at work. I know I shall be hoping for a decent week at work. Otherwise, I shall probably be leaving a large dent in my desk with my forehead hitting the desk so many times, dealing with so many annoying people. But there we are. Anyway, look after yourselves.